everyone. This video is going to show you how I harvest worms for shipment. What you see here is an oil changing pan, just to give you an idea of the size of the container I'm working with. And the material in the container is worms and bedding that I removed from a bin. I simply rake my fingers over the top of the bedding. If I've been feeding and watering properly, the worms are congregated thickly in this upper portion of the bedding. I then set the container on a surface where I can get light to shine down on the material. What this does is drive the worms deeper into the material, and I can start removing the top layers down to where I hit the worms. This material is about 1 to 2 inches in depth. As I work, the worms continue to dive. I work from the outsides of the container to the middle, piling the material in a cone shape as I remove material from the top. It's okay to leave the worms and go take care of chores, or if the phone rings. It doesn't hurt the worms to be left at this point in time, as long as there is some material covering them. Once you get down to where the worms are totally exposed, if you don't plan on immediately handling them, then they should be covered and protected from the light. Once I have the worms completely separated from the bedding, then I prepare my bag for shipping. I zero out the weight of the bag and add the original bedding into the bag until I have a weight equal to the weight of the worms I'm shipping. If I'm shipping a pound of worms, I weigh out a pound of bedding. Then I add the worms up to 2 pounds. Since I'm shipping a pound of worms and a pound of bedding, that makes 2 pounds. And that's what I've got to ship. This is a very worm-friendly way to harvest, and essentially, the worms barely even know that they've been harvested. They are replaced back into the material they have known as home and are left to settle back into the bedding before shipment. I always try to harvest at least a day in advance so the worms have an opportunity to reestablish themselves in the bedding. Then I generally feed them one last time overnight before I package them for shipping the next morning. This method is a little more time consuming, but I feel it is less stressful for the worms. They don't get tumbled around and dried out. It definitely makes me feel a lot better. The worms I shipped out with this harvest are going to Arizona, where it's been 100 degrees. I only hope it wasn't a suicide mission for the worms, but I'm hoping to discover the limitations of what my worms can handle. They've definitely proven to me how resilient they are in the cold. The big bonus of the Acinetophididas is that they can handle the extremes better than any other worm. This is the material left over from harvesting. This is a pound of worms.